welcome to Pilates with Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I am bringing you a beginner full body workout. This is part of my Start Here program, so if this is the first time visiting my channel or just coming back to practice, this is a great class to get you going. Like I said, we're going to move our spine in all planes of motion, and it's going to go ahead, we're going to flow through the whole body, but we're going to take our time and we're going to be precise and we're going to come through the movements together. Today I have my reformer set up on 2 heavy springs, 1 medium spring. On my reformer, those are 2 reds, 1 blue. On other reformers, it may be a full spring, 2 full springs, and 1 half spring. My headrest, I use a pillow for my headrest, especially in foundational classes when my spine, I need good cervical alignment, so I choose to use a cervical alignment pillow. That again is not necessary, that is just something I like to do in my own personal practice. So once your foot bar is up into its normal footwork position, we're going to go ahead, we're going to have a seat sitting down on our carriage, just sitting facing perpendicular to the carriage. We're just going to begin with a little bit of mobility work. So I want you to find yourself sitting up over your sitting bones. Those are those bones in the bottom of your bum that you can feel when you wiggle back and forth just a little bit. So you want to find that your waistline is pulled in and you are sitting right over those bones. You want to think about sending those shoulders down your back and plugging them to your armpits. Now from here, I just want you to drop your right ear to your right shoulder and bring it right back up to center. And now I want you to do the same towards the left, dropping the left ear towards the left shoulder. Let's continue that movement, just warming up the neck, dropping the right to the right shoulder, lifting it back up to center. What I want you to think about here is every time that your head is coming back up to center, you're thinking somebody is pulling you from a string from the crown of your head, and you're growing taller over those hip bones. Now think about your breath, whether you inhale or exhale as you tilt your head from side to side. That choice is yours. To me, breath is a tool, not a rule, so you want to do what feels and comes natural to you. Last one here. Next time you come to center, go ahead, hold it here. Let's go. Now we're going to shrug the shoulders. So we're just going to lift the shoulders up to the ears. Now I want you to plug them down your back and feel that chest brighten. Again, shrug the shoulders up to your ears. Drop and you'll feel the chest brighten as you plug those shoulders down your back. So just a shrug of the shoulder and down. You're thinking about keeping those abdominals drawn in towards your spine. You still have that string pulling you from the crown of your head. Your abs are still engaged as you're sitting up nice and tall. Last one here. One more shrug. Go ahead, drop those shoulders, and let's go ahead. Just roll those shoulders back 2 or 3 times. And let's move them forward 2 or 3 times. Excellent. We are going to go ahead. We're going to turn around. We're going to lay down on our carriage. So you want to bring your bottom towards the edge of the carriage. You're going to go ahead. You're going to have your head placed on that headrest. You're going to find your heels on that bar, but you want those heels touching everything zipped up, connected together. So legs are squeezing, knees are squeezing, heels are squeezing together. I want you to think about the balls of your feet pressing on an imaginary floor underneath you. Your abdominals are pulled in. Now you have a natural little space underneath here, which is your natural spine or your neutral spine. If you see, I'm going to tuck my pelvis, squeeze my glutes just a little bit. I now have a straight spine, and that is an imprinted spine. Either one is neither right or wrong. You choose what works for you, and as you develop your practice, things might change. So when you're ready, let's draw those abs in. I want your arms resting long by your sides. Take a breath, take a big deep inhale, As you begin to exhale, I want you to go ahead, extend those legs, squeeze the legs together. Think about those feet pressing on that imaginary floor, and bring the carriage in. Now you want to try to control this carriage as you bring this carriage in. You also want to think about every time you're extending yourself, you're drawing those abdominals up and connecting them to the rib cage and squeezing yourself at the top, resisting those springs back home. So when I always say resist springs back home, you have to remember springs will spring back. So it's your job to use your muscles to keep those springs from falling back home too fast. When you feel comfortable here, we can pick up the pace, really extending those legs, squeezing everything together. We'll go for 4, 3, 2, last one. Bring that carriage all the way into the bumper and go ahead, slide yourself down. You want to slide yourself down to the balls of the feet. Now I want you to think about all 10 toes wrapping around that bar, picking up real estate. You're squeezing those legs together, heels, ankle bones squeezing together. Take an inhale, exhale, extend the carriage out, resist it in. Now think about how your feet naturally are lifted here. You're not putting yourself in a high heel, you're just trying to wrap your toes around that bar. Heels are slightly lifted. Squeeze as you extend. Let's do 3 more here. Next time you come in, I want you to come all the way in. Now lift those heels. I want you to pretend that you have a small heel or a wedge heel on. Squeeze those ankles, squeeze those knees, arms come to your side. Take an inhale, extend the carriage out. Feel the difference between the back body and the front body when you lift the heels. We go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way in. And let's go ahead, come back to our heels. Our heels are coming back onto the bar. Toes are in the air. Now we're clicking those heels together. We have a Pilates V on top of the bar. Heels are squeezing. This time arms are resting. As you extend out, you're going to squeeze, and now you're going to feel the inner thighs squeezing together. Take a moment here to feel how, if you have that space at your lower back. If you do, you're in your neutral spine. If you do, imprinted spine. Again, not wrong, not right, just making you aware of spinal positioning. So go ahead, continue pressing that carriage in and out, being slow and purposeful with your movements, engaging every muscle, squeezing those kneecaps to your quads, finding that full length extension. Inner thigh press as you extend out. Release it as you come in. We have 2. 1 more here. Come into that bumper. We're going to slide back to the toes. Balls of the feet are on. 10 toes are picking up real estate. Heels are staying together. Take an inhale, exhale, extend the carriage out. Feel the difference. A little deeper through the inner thighs. Let's do 3 more here. For 2. 1 more. Bring that carriage all the way in. I want you to unclick those heels. Feet are coming back to parallel. Now we're going to take those heels wide on the bar. Our feet are going to come to the corners of the room, so you're going to externally rotate them. So this is wide Pilates V. From here, take a big deep inhale, keep those abs, ribs in, extend yourself out, resist yourself in. Be mindful of the spine. Is your spine staying in that same position? Whichever position it's in, you're trying to keep it in that position. So if you're working in an imprinted spine, try to continue working in that imprinted spine. We'll go for 2 more here. Next time you come in, come all the way in. We're going to do the same movement, keeping those feet wide. We're going to come down to the balls of the feet, all 10 toes, trying to pick up real estate. Lift those heels like you have that small wedge on. Draw those abdominals in. Feel if you have that space at your lower back. Now, as you extend yourself out, do you still have that space? And bring it in. Just watching how your pelvis stays stable between each separated movement of the body. We'll go for 4, 3, 2. Let's go for 1 more here. Bring yourself all the way in. I want you to rotate those feet so they're back in parallel and walk them back towards the center. Feet are back together, squeezing together. We are staying on our toes here, so 10 toes are wrapping. Take an inhale, extend yourself out. Now I want you to drop your heels, coming underneath that foot bar, getting that big juicy stretch underneath, back of your legs riding up towards your glutes. Nice hamstring stretch. Come up on those toes, really lift those heels, and let's drop those heels again. So maybe this time you can get those heels just a little bit further underneath that bar, and let's lift. So these are calf raises, sometimes considered tendon stretch. Just lower and lift those heels, trying to get deeper every time. Let's go for 2 more. 1 more. Next time you're up on those toes, I want you to hold them there. Now just take one heel, whichever one, right or left, drop it underneath the foot bar as you bend the knee with the foot on the foot bar, and switch. So you're dropping one heel under as you're releasing the other, bending the other side, trying to get deeper into one side of your body. Now I want you to think about your knees. I want your knees to try to go point up straight to the clouds. And now if you take your hands to your hip bones, you're trying to minimize the wiggle as you shift your weight from side to side. That is the goal. May not be perfect, and that's okay. When you feel confident here, if you want to just pick up the pace for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come back up on those toes. Let's bend that carriage and go ahead, bring your knees in towards your chest, ankles from side to side, and go ahead, place those heels on that bar. Scoot yourself a little bit away from those shoulder blocks if you came up on pushing into the shoulder blocks. From here, you're going to lift one leg up to tabletop. Now you want to find your knee in 90 degrees over your hip. You're going to squeeze your other leg to tabletop. Both legs are squeezing together. Now look at that space that you have in your lower back. Abs are pulled in. Is that space still there? That if your knees are over your hips, abs are pulled in, you should be in your neutral spine. Everybody's space size is different according to their body. This is a very hard position to stay in. So as time goes on, you will get stronger and stronger to be able to hold your legs in this position. But If it gets too hard, instead of letting your feet come towards the floor, I want you to pull your knees in towards your chest, flatten this back, and protect your back. Okay? So from here, let's go back to that tabletop or the knees closer to your chest, whichever you choose. We're going to grab our headrest or pegs behind us. I want you to open up that chest. Think about that chest opening up wide. Wrap your hands around the shoulder blocks or pegs. Anchor onto them. Draw those abdominals in. Now I want you to drop your knees to one side. I'm going to go towards my left first. As I'm dropping my knees towards the left, I'm thinking about trying to keep my shoulders connected, but my opposite hip is going to come off and my knees are going to tilt to the side. Now draw those abdominals in, bring them in towards the center. Everything comes to the center. Now come towards the other side. So dropping my knees towards my right side, my left hip's coming up, but my right shoulder is not. Anchoring myself down through my abdominals. Pull yourself back to the center. Again, let's go to the opposite side now than you did before, trying to anchor that shoulder down. When the shoulder comes up, that's your range of motion for now. Draw those abs in and to center. Let's continue that movement, staying engaged and aware of our body positioning. Think about those knees. Do you think they're still 90 degrees over your hips? Feet are parallel to the floor. We're going to do one more each side. So yes, this is abdominal work, as well as a great twist for your spine. One more here. Bring it back to center and carefully bring your feet to that bar. You can bring your arms by your sides. From here, we're going to take our feet and we're going to find our platform. We're starting with our bridging segment. We're coming into bridging and I'm on the platform. Bridging is everybody's hamstrings cramp when they first start bridging. So start on the platform. The lower the bridge, the less cramping you have. The higher you go up, the more apt you are to cramp. So flip your palms. Your palms are facing into the carriage mat. You're trying to open up those shoulders just like we did before with our hands wrapped around the shoulder blocks, but this time your palms are down. So you're trying to keep your shoulders just the same way. Abs are pulled in. Now, we're going to squeeze our legs together, press through our arms, and we're going to squeeze and we're going to lift our hips straight up to the clouds. Now, I want you to think about squeezing your glutes at the top, opening up through your hip flexors, keeping those abs in without splaying those ribs. Once you get to the top, I want you to go ahead, drop it down. Excellent. Again, squeeze the glutes, lift. Think about, take a glance. Are your hips in line with your knees? Are your knees going to the diagonal side of the room? And down. Let's go for 3. And down. I like to exhale when I lift. I inhale at the top, and I exhale when I drop it down. Let's go for 2. One more here. Now, if you felt fine here with those feet on the platform, this is where, as a beginner, you would start bringing your feet up to the foot bar. If your feet are, or you feel your hamstrings cramping with the platform, stay there until they no longer cramp. We're going to do the same motion here, hinge bridge. This time we're a little bit higher, but you want to make sure that you don't splay through your chest. So feet are higher, more range of motion. Take a big deep inhale, squeeze everything together, lift through those heels. Now watch that you don't overextend. You want to keep those hips in line with those knees, abs and ribs connected. on your shoulders, not your neck. Take an inhale, top, exhale, down. Squeeze and lift. Take it at your pace. Again, if you feel legs start cramping, bring your feet to the platform. Or another option is you have a split stance. So you come up with like one up, one down. Especially the leg that likes to cramp, you work it on the bottom, getting it stronger for the lift. Last one here. When your bottom comes down, go ahead, bring your knees to your chest. All right, so decide where you want your feet, whether it be on the platform or on the foot bar. We're going to go into articulation between our neutral and pelvis, neutral and imprinted spine. So you're thinking about your abs being pulled in, your knees are over your hips, your feet are on the foot bar. Your hips, abs are pulled in. If you have that neutral spine, perfect. If you don't, no worries. We're going to take an inhale. Now I want you to bring your hands to your hip bones. I want you to tuck, flatten out your back as you squeeze your glutes and tuck your pelvis forward. As you tuck your pelvis forward, you're going to start peeling yourself up, squeezing your glutes, rolling yourself up one vertebrae at a time. When you're up here, you want to make sure that your abs and ribs are connected. You're in line from your hips to your knees. Knees and ankles are in line with each other underneath. Take an inhale at the top. Exhale, roll yourself down. As you roll yourself down, you're pushing each spinal knot, each vertebrae, into that carriage mat underneath you, trying to create space. You have a flat back, your imprint spine. You're going to roll to your neutral. We'll do two more just like that at your pace. Tuck your pelvis, flatten your back. Scoop those abdominals, squeeze those glutes as you lift those hips. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll yourself down. Make sure you're pushing that weight into the carriage mat, creating space in that lumbar spine. One more here. Find that tuck, scoop, roll. Inhale. Exhale, roll it down. One vertebrae at a time. Try to keep the carriage quiet, but that's not the most important thing right now. Excellent. Go ahead, bring your knees to your chest. And let's come into a little bit of ab warm-up. So we're going to find our legs back into that tabletop position. So legs are squeezing together, knees are squeezing together. Everything's nice, solid, tight. Your knees can be here with a flat back if you feel it pulling on your lower back, or in regular tabletop, knees over hips. Arms are just resting by your sides. Now I want you to tuck your chin towards your chest. As I want you to tuck and roll, and I want you to come up and look right in between the space in between your inner thighs. Take an inhale. I want you to exhale, and I want you to roll that upper body back down. Again, tuck the chin towards the chest. Continue rolling yourself up. Take your gaze right over the tip of that nose. Look in between those thighs and roll it down. Let's go for two more. Pushing those hands into that carriage mat. Tuck the chin. Roll. Look in between those thighs. Exhale down. One more here. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll. And bring it down. Good job. Bring your feet to the foot bar. Drop your feet from side to side. We are carefully going to come on up. We are going to be coming off this reformer. So the easiest way I like to start getting off this reformer is I take my opposite hand, bring it to the shoulder block, and I kind of roll myself off and up the reformer. All right, we are going to be taking a spring change. So I am going to be removing one of my heavy springs. That's one red spring. And I'm also going to be removing my medium spring. So I only have left one full tension, one heavy or one red spring on my carriage. We are going to be coming down. I am going to lift my headrest up. So I'm putting my headrest back on. I am going to turn around and I'm going to lay myself back down a little bit away from those shoulder blocks. So you want to make sure that your shoulders aren't jamming into those shoulder blocks. Bring your feet to the foot bar. Once your feet come on that foot bar, you're going to reach behind you. You're going to grab your straps. When you have those straps, most people have two options. If you only have one set of straps, put your hands in those straps. If you have two sets, the shorter loops are heavier and the longer loops are lighter. Arms are going to be reaching up to the clouds. You're going to notice that your carriage automatically pulled away from the foot bar. Now I want you to draw those abs in. Bring one leg up to table like we did before. Squeeze the other leg to meet it and squeeze everything together. Arms are reaching fingertips towards the clouds. We're going to press the arms straight down towards our hips and resist them up. I want you to think about your shoulders being wide. Arms are coming by your sides as you're pressing your arms down towards your waist, opening that chest proud, keeping those abs pulled in. Legs are squeezing together. Now this position with our legs, like I said before, is a very hard position to hold. So if you find that your legs are getting tired, instead of letting them fall to the floor like this, where it's going to arch your back and pull on your lower back, pull them closer to your chest, cross your ankles, and flatten your back out. And we'll take the pressure off your hips. We're going to go for 2 more. When those arms come back up to the clouds, hold them there. Bring your feet to the foot bar. Drop your knees from side to side. When you come back to the center, now this time I want you to lift the right leg first. Squeeze the left leg to meet it. Squeeze everything together. Arms are pressing towards the clouds. Fingers pressing down towards the foot bar. Hold them here. I want you to flip your palms so your palms are facing your hips. Now you're going to open up to a T or a V. Don't go so wide if you feel it in your shoulders. Press your palms towards your hips. So open to that V. If you feel it in your shoulders, stay at that V. If you're okay, go to that T. Squeeze and press. Again, legs can be close to your chest, protecting that lower back. Just not pointing towards the floor. I like to use an exhale as I'm bringing my arms towards my bum. Inhale as I open my arms. We'll go for 2 more. Squeeze. Resist. Think about squeezing something towards your side body. Squeeze. Last one. Arms come up to the T. When your arms are back by your body, hold them there. Flip the palms, float the arms up, bring the feet to the foot bar, drop your knees from side to side. Bringing those arms back up towards the clouds. We're going to go ahead, lift that left leg to table, right leg meets it. This time, we're going to press our arms down by our waist, touch the carriage mat. I want you to lift the arms, hold them there. So they are reaching towards that foot bar. We're going to move the lower body now. So we're going to extend our right leg or left leg, whichever one you want, extend it out long. Now I want you to pull it right back over the hip, extend the other leg long. Pull it right back over the hip. So you're reaching each leg long out of the hip socket, working those lower abdominals to pull that leg back into center while you're reaching those arms long towards the foot bar. So just alternating side to side, Left and right, think about those abs pulling that heavy leg back in. We have one more on each side. Next time, both legs are squeezing together. Arms come up to the clouds, feet come to the foot bar. Drop your knees from right to left. Coming back to the center, arms are coming back up to the clouds. We're going to find our right leg to table, squeeze for the left one to meet it. Now, instead of moving the legs, we're going to move the chest with the arms. So think about how we did the chest lifts before. I want you to tuck your chin towards your chest. Now, I want you to curl yourself up. Exhale, curl, curl, curl up. Reach those arms long towards the foot bar. Look between those thighs. Exhale, and bring it back down. So coming up with a chest lift, reaching, think about reaching those fingers long towards the foot bar. Curl it up, and down. Every time you curl it up, do you think you can curl up just a little bit higher by reaching those fingers? But what you want to be mindful of is that your bottom is not lifting as well. It's staying glued to that carriage mat. We're going to go through two more here. Curl it up. Lift, lift, lift. Reach, reach, reach. One more here. And curl it up. Reach, reach. Great job. Let's bring it down. And go ahead, bring those feet to the foot bar. We can hang those straps up. Go ahead, drop your knees from side to side. One more move before we get up totally from here is our feet are coming up to tabletop. Our hands are coming up to the clouds. Now, just like that chest lift, we're going to come into 100. That's called 100 preps position. So tuck your chin, curl yourself up, drop the hands towards the foot bar. Now, keep those abdominals pulled in. I want you to pump those arms up and down like you're pushing through water. Open those fingers. Now, I want you to try to keep the body very still as you pump those arms. Can you inhale through that nose as you pump those arms, reaching longer towards the foot bar? Just in a controlled pump. This is the beginning of hundreds. We're not doing the whole set. You're just concentrating on reaching and pumping those arms with the rest of your body staying quiet for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms back up to the clouds as the head comes down. Feet come to the foot bar. All right, we are going to roll up off our reformers and make some changes here. We are staying on that one red spring. You're going to go ahead, you're going to take that headrest, you're going to go ahead and place it down or on the floor. Grab your straps. And then once you have your straps, you're going to come sit crisscross applesauce on the reformer. If sitting crisscross applesauce doesn't work for you, you can always put your feet on to the headrest and sit up nice and tall. So whichever one works for you, be my guest to choose. You have the options. You can choose the long loops or the... Now, whichever way you're sitting, I want you to be mindful that you're sitting up nice and tall. Your abs are pulled in and your shoulders are away from your ears and plugged down your back. We're going to take those straps, we're going to bring them out to the outsides of the wood rails. Our palms are facing towards our foot bar. With our arms, we're going to go with a straight press past our hips. Now, if you're sitting Indian style or your legs are bent, as the arms come forward, they don't come past the knees. Rather, in between the knees and the hip, mid-thigh is perfect. Press the arms back. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together and down your back. Resist it forward. Yes, keep thinking about opening that chest and a string pulling you from the crown of your head growing taller. We'll go for 4, 3, really working on those posture muscles now, especially so much of us spend time at our computers. Last one. When you resist those arms forward, go ahead, relax those shoulders, take a moment. Go ahead, let's reach those arms long. Sitting up nice and tall, I want you to bring those arms chest height. Palms are now down. We're gonna pull our arms so our elbows come wide. Sitting up nice and tall, keep those abs pulled in, resist it back. As you're pulling towards your chest, I want you to think about pushing the elbows back, squeezing the scapula together, but not popping through your chest. So again, release the arms, pull, squeeze, connect to the rib cage, resist it back. Pull and squeeze, connect to the rib cage and back. Once you connect to that rib cage, the abs and ribs meet, then you can squeeze the arms back a little bit further and press down. We got 3 more. For 2, and 1 more. Excellent job. Go ahead, hold those straps. Carefully, we're gonna turn around, face our foot bar. You're gonna sit up the same way, either crisscross or your feet bent slightly in front of you. Now you're gonna take those straps, you're gonna turn them. You have the long loops or the short loops. Same thing here. Sitting up nice and tall, not leaning into those shoulder blocks. Arms are gonna come out to that T. Now this time, we're pulling towards our chest, keeping those abs pulled in, and bringing it back. So now you're pulling those back muscles, working them in the opposite direction, resisting it back. Keep those abs in to help pull those arms together. We're going for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring those arms in, and you can hang those straps on up. Once you have those straps hung up, we are changing our spring, adding a blue spring on red spring. I'm carefully gonna slide my bottom up towards the edge of the carriage. You're gonna go ahead, you are gonna lie down. You're gonna grab those straps, and now you're gonna take the long loop, and you're gonna take the long loop and place it onto one foot, and then you're gonna push out into that strap, place the other foot loop on the other foot. Once those legs are long, arms come by your sides, legs are squeezing together. You're gonna lift the legs up towards the clouds, keep those abs pulled in, bottom stays stuck to that carriage mat, and you come up as far as you can with your bottom staying down. Push those legs down towards the foot bar from the seat of your crease, and then lift them up. Again, press them away. Pull them up. So you're pushing away from you, pulling them towards you. We're going for 2 more here. Think about those hip bones, trying to stay quiet. Everything's squeezing together, one big leg. When those legs come down to 45 degrees, not exactly straight, 45 to the corners of the room, this is where I want you to open the toes, click the heels together, just like we did in footwork. This time we're gonna bend our knees. Heels come towards our glutes. Push them away, pull them in. Squeeze and push. So think about those heels really trying to stick together, holding a piece of paper between your heels or maybe $100 bill or something, just those heels are igniting each other. We have 3 more. You can place your hands on your hips to see if your hips are quiet. Next time those legs are long, hold them there, flip them back to parallel. Float them up to the clouds. Now from here, I want you to open them wide, wider than the reformer. Scoop them down towards the foot bar. Squeeze them together. Lift to the clouds. Scoop them out and around. Scoop and squeeze. Lift. You're thinking about pointing those legs as long as you can out of those hip sockets. Last 2. Next time those feet come up to the clouds, hold them there. We're going to push down towards the foot bar, come out and around. So push those legs down. Scoop them up, pull them together, and press them down. Last 2, keeping those hips quiet. Next time those feet come up to the clouds, hold them there. Can you flex your toes towards your nose, reach up, grab those straps, pull down on those straps, getting a little bit deeper into that hamstring stretch. And go ahead, let's bend our knees. You're going to take one strap off of that foot, carefully come to that foot bar, and then carefully take that strap off and place that strap on up. Once you are ready, we're going to come up off to the side of the reformer. So whichever side you want to come, take that opposite hand, push onto the shoulder block, and roll yourself up. We are going to be taking off one medium spring. That is our one blue spring. And then I'm going to have you come standing on to your reformer, coming into a little bit of leg work. So I am going to take my inside leg, which for me, that is my right leg, and I am going to place it onto the carriage, and my foot is going to be tucked onto the shoulder block. My left leg here is coming up with my leg towards the foot bar. Now, my pelvis is going to shift forward. Okay, so pelvis is shifting forward, trying to keep a straight back from the crown of my head down to my foot. Holding on to the foot bar, we're going to come down into this standing leg. You're going to bend yourself down. You're going to push your weight into this leg onto the carriage, getting a nice stretch through that back leg. Now, what I want you to be mindful of, as soon as we press this leg out, this outside hip hikes. So you have to square it out. So just automatically know that pretty much you have to square the hips out towards the foot bar to get deeper into that stretch. Let's go ahead, bring that carriage in. Now, same type of move here. This time we're going to move the foot bar. We're going to lift the leg, and now we're going to push the carriage out. Yes, is it a stretch? It is definitely a stretch, pushing that leg out, but if you come up with that leg straight, it now becomes working leg work. So push it out into that stretch. Lift it up. Hold on to the foot bar. Push it out. So working this standing glute as you're passively stretching your right leg, or whichever leg is on the carriage. Going for 2 more, lowering and lifting. Again, not bringing any balance work into this right now. Next time you come up, you're going to place that knee back down. This time you're going to go back into that stretch. Really you can bring your hands to the foot bar, draw those abdominals in, keep that chest proud, really push out of that back leg, opening up into that Eve's lunge and that wonderful hip flexor stretch here. Try to square the hips. And let's go ahead and bring it in. We're going to do the same thing coming into side splits. So hold on to your foot bar with your inside hand. Same foot is now facing the wall in front of you. Legs stay straight on the carriage. Legs stay straight on the floor. Hold on to the foot bar. You're just going to push yourself out to a straight leg stretch. Hold on. Just go as far as you can. Keep those abs pulled in. Squeeze the inner thighs as you bring it in together. Again, coming into side splits, pressing the carriage out, getting a deep stretch. You do what works for your body, holding on, taking the balance work out of it. And up. Let's go for 2 more. And 1 more. Go ahead, bring that carriage in, and let's walk around to the other side. Do the same thing on this side. So we're going to start. My left foot is coming down onto the carriage. My right foot is by the foot bar. Knee stays down. Press that carriage out. Square the hip to the carriage. And really get that nice stretch. Pull the carriage in. Now you're going to go ahead, you're going to lift your knee this time. Push yourself out. You're still staying up nice and tall. Chest is proud. Reach out. Chest long. Can you come stand it up? And down. So now, passive lunge, stretch, little working with that stability leg. Remember, you don't have to let go. It's just a habit. Really pushing through that straight leg. We have 1 more here. Next time you come in, carriage comes in, you'll place that knee down. Now into that Eve's lunge 1 final time. And bring it in. All right, we're going to turn towards our carriage. My foot is facing you, flat against the headrest. I am holding on. Both legs are straight, coming into that side split. Remember, just take it as far as you can. You can hold on, do what works for you, and bring it in. Again, stretch it out. Hold on to that foot bar. Remember, Pilates is all about moving the spine in all planes of motion, increasing your flexibility through life and keeping you functional in life. So lots of things we do keep you from picking up things off the floor, playing on the floor with your grandchildren, bending, stretching, tying your shoes, all of the above. Last one. Bring it in. And carefully take that foot off of the foot bar. We are going to walk around. I am going to have a seat in front of you. And we're going to sit up nice and tall just where we began. This time we're finding our hips. We're going to sit up nice and tall just where we begin, finding our sitting bones pressing into that carriage. This time I'm going to reach my arms long. I'm going to rotate my waist towards my tower, pump it once and twice, bring it to center, rotate my waist to the foot bar, pump it twice, and bring it to center. So pump, pump, coming for a spine twist, and coming to center. Little finishing up with some mobility work and bringing it to center. Pump, pump to center. Repeat 2 more times. 1 more to the other side. When you come to center, stay there. Can you take your hand that's closest to your headrest? Reach on up over. Come for a big side stretch. Open up that side body. Reach that leg towards the tower. Are you still sitting up over your sitting bones? Are you dropping those shoulders back and down? Bring that arm up to the clouds. Go ahead, bring that hand, whether it be to the foot bar, to the carriage, wherever you need. Opposite hand comes out. Let's come in for a lateral stretch on this side. Bend into it. Get that big stretch to this side. Sitting nice and tall over those hips. Drop the head. And come back up to center. And go ahead, bring those hands down. Roll those shoulders. And I hope you enjoyed this slow and intentional Pilates Reformer beginner flow. Like always, please like, comment, share, and until next time, I'll meet you on the Reformer. Bye.